Hey, what's going on, traders? The watch this video here for Tuesday, March 8th. As always, I'm starting off with a daily chart of the SPY, and quite an ugly day. I always try to compare a daily candle size, going back looking at the last several months. And this is probably one of the biggest down candles, if not the biggest, it's close, that you'll see in the last several months. The Dow was down like 800 points-ish. But the good thing is, if you're a day trader like myself, there's plenty of stuff to trade. We always say there needs to be a theme. We've got a theme right now, right? The energy plays are going nuts. I'll talk about a couple of those real quick. MARPS, I called second mouse through 10 right here, which it only went to 11.16. That, it's still over a 10% move before falling over. But gave it probably a couple other setups. But that was one thing I called early this morning. BTU was getting that intraday shape change we look for. And it looked probably like this. When I said I like it as a reversal, if it gets under 20, look what happened. 1993 and then back up. Went up a couple, $2.50 maybe from there. Got a lot of thank yous for that. So I was glad to see people in chat got that one. HUSA, I called a fives buy zone pullback, which if you guys have been in the chat room at all, any length of time, the fives buy zone is right between this blue and red line. Boom. Got right to the middle of that buy zone and then was up from there. Somewhere around 770 would have been the entry. And it went up to what? 14? 1394 from there. So there's a few highlights from today. There was plenty of stuff to trade, and certainly I've got a massive watch list for tomorrow. I'm going to give you what I'm putting on the member page, and then I'm also going to probably show you a couple others because it's just a big, big list. Let's go to USEG, big volume, and closing well off its highs, but in after hours it's trading at 680. There are some after hours oil plays moving. Certainly one to watch because it still only hit 12.9 million today, and some of the other names like INDO, IMPP just hit massive numbers as far as volume. So you could still call this a laggard, right? So it's interesting to me. So that one goes on long watch, especially if oil's strong. CELP, kind of the same thing. Only hit 5 million shares today, closed at 231, and after hours, it did go to almost 4. As I'm babbling right now, it's trading at about 3. So probably a gapper tomorrow. It's in that same industry. MARPS. This one hurts my feelings because I had to run to the store after hours, and this was my top watch in after hours. Thought it would be good back through 13. As I'm talking, it's trading at 1750. So this one hurts a little bit because I would have loved that back through 13 and after hours. You know what? We can glance at it real quick. Yeah, so look what happens. It breaks 13. Did pull back. Did pull back to 1275 and then just really took off. So potential gapper tomorrow. That's another one. Only traded 7.6 million. That still sounds like a lot, when you compare to its average volume. But some of the other ones, such massive volume that I would consider MARPS a laggard in that group too. So worth watching tomorrow. FUV had a nice volume spike here. Kind of did this right here. Kind of did a secondary move right here. Topped out at 733. Flagging topped out again today, right at 733. So over this little daily flag is interesting. Certainly has great relative strength. CVNA Carvana. I don't know, 5 days in a row down to that $100 area. Actually went down to 99.71 today. Definitely goes on bounce watch. It's oversold. I don't know, 6 or 7 days ago it was over $156. So definitely goes on bounce watch. And in that same space, CARG, which ripped about a week ago, a little over a week ago, and has been pulling back ever since, almost getting downside shape now. That one goes on bounce watch as well. RIVN, hitting new all-time lows for the last couple days in a row. Certainly worth watching for a snapback bounce. It's an EV play, which you'd think these might kind of catch some attention with oil doing what it's doing. So keep a close eye on RIVN for an intraday bounce play setup. A couple of the chip sector. MU Micron has fallen from 94 down to 75 in about, what, 3 sessions? Super interesting for a bounce. AMD, kind of the same thing, getting back near that $100 area. I'd like to see a flush of 100 tomorrow and then see if we can intraday reversal set up. So there's a couple chips. EPAM got decimated about a week ago from 350 down to 198-ish. Had a nice bounce back up to 250, and now 3 nasty days in a row again to the downside. There's the weekly chart, so kind of interesting around the 150 area, but we'll see. This one goes on bounce watch for sure. Let's go back to the daily there. That's EPAM. SNOW, SNOW, gap down on earnings 3 sessions ago, and then another red day and another red day, and almost getting nasty shape there. Certainly interesting for a bounce play setup. Disney, I'd like to see that flush 130, but it's already 3 big down days in a row, so that one goes on bounce watch. RL, which is Ralph Lauren. I mean, just straight off a cliff here, taking out recent lows. But when you have something that falls really quickly to take out recent lows, that's not a short setup to me. That's more a higher odds setup for a snapback bounce. So that one's really interesting. RL for a bounce. ABNB, which is Airbnb, super interesting. Look at this. Bounced off 130 back here. Again here, when I say 130, I mean the area. And straight down in 3 sessions from 160 to 130. And really over the last couple weeks from over 190 to 130. Super interesting. There's the weekly. So still not all-time lows, but that 130 flush would be super interesting for a potential bounce. And then NINE, big breakout today. And then in after hours, they had earnings. And so it actually got some more attention. As I'm talking right now, it's trading at 560 in after hours and was up over 7. So a potential gapper there tomorrow. There's a lot to watch. I said I was going to show you some stuff that I'm kind of keeping off the watch list because the list is already so big. But Shake Shack, SHAK, several days in a row down near recent lows. Good potential bounce play there. LVS is Las Vegas Sands. Super interesting around 34, right? And it's gotten from 44 to 36 in a hurry. So that makes me like it a little more. What else? Qualcomm, QCOM, pretty beaten up. Snapback bounce possible. Boeing, BA. I mean, just straight off a cliff there from 205 down to 169. If you go to the weekly, Boeing's kind of interesting. Certainly right above that 140 area. But in the short term, it's really overdue, or overdone, I should say, to the downside, along with any of the airlines. Look at that. Look at UAL, DAL, AAL. They're just decimated. So any one of those also. And that might be it. Oh, a couple restaurants. DRI, just really beating up. Darden Restaurants, BLMN, kind of interesting. I mean, just beating up. So I guess I could put them all on the list, but at least they're in the video. I'm concentrating the list on what I've already put earlier. Plenty to watch. Make sure your setups are A+, and I'm done babbling. I'll see you guys in the chat room in the morning.